Greetings, groovy people. This is the self-proclaimed Blue Dragon here with a Friday night video. Unleash the Dragon. I don't know. I'm really bad at titles, especially on Fridays. Lots going on in addition to different things that I'm participating in. And then, doing a few Inktober's here and there. Some things have been kind of rolling around my head, having stuff going on in my personal life, and then things that I've been checking out and reading, forums and, videos, podcasts and stuff that I've been listening to, and I don't know, I've just been getting me thinking about a lot of different things, and, thinking about when I was back in college. One of my big problems with the final course that I was supposed to take to get my English double major was I was taking Milton, and I talked about Milton in this video. I've got an iCard. I have a love-hate relationship with Milton. I can read wordy stuff, and I love when people play with words, and I feel like I should like Milton a lot more than I do. I like the idea of Milton a lot more than I like actually reading him. And I like Shakespeare because for me, he was more accessible simply from the fact that we were at least introduced to Shakespeare, so he was a little more familiar, a little less out there. And with Milton, I don't know what the deal was. I don't know if it was just that the texts were so big that we had to have read, and he had so many interesting thoughts and ideas that for my final essay, I only had one essay left, and I bless my teacher that I had. I'd taken this professor so many times, but by the last time I had nothing left to say, and I wonder if a lot of it was burnout. I don't wonder, I know a lot of it was burnout, but kind of what I want to talk about that I've been thinking about lately is this whole fear of failure and this anxiety of influence. I was gonna write something. I guess what I wanted to do was I wanted to try to use the text to talk a bit about, at the time I was vegetarian, I had been kicking around this idea of writing something, because if you know Milton, if anyone out there knows Milton, he wrote Paradise Lost, and then I think there's Paradise Regained, and there's a bunch of, it's biblical, a lot of it. I think parts of it, if I remember right, which this whole era in my life was just a fugue, but I want to say that a lot of it, some of it was written from Satan's point of view, from Lucifer's point of view. If I'm not mistaken, I don't think that was another author. I'm pretty sure that was Milton. If I'm wrong, somebody please tell me in the comments. Smack me with some facts, because I'm trying to remember. The whole concept of memory is so faulty. The Decembers had a really good line. Something along the lines of, I remember your coat was a spritish magenta when in fact it was a dirty gray or something like that. And this one song that I really like, this July song, but memory's faulty, period. But I thought that was something that had been kind of focused in part of Paradise Lost. And I don't know, I was trying to conceptualize an essay regarding, the whole idea of vegetarianism and the Garden of Eden, because I believe that in what I remember reading in Milton, he had made mention of, in the perfect world, Adam and Eve were vegetarians. So I was like, that's personal, and I'm gonna write an essay on that. And then I just kept reading it. It's I don't know what to write. And I would do drafts, and I would make outlines, and I would brainstorm. And then every time I would fall flat, how am I gonna support this argument? What am I gonna add to what he's already said? It's a nice concept, but really I have nothing to say. And I ended up just not doing my last essay. This whole anxiety of influence, just what have I got to add to the discourse? Why? What does it matter? And I sometimes feel that way about making YouTube videos too, or even the comic that I work on. What do I have to add? Why does anyone care? Finally, I had to come to terms with it, and it's a little bit selfish, but I don't know, I finally had to internalize it and be other people aren't gonna necessarily care. But if it's something that you care about or something that I care about. That's why I'm just here. The whole video, I'm just justifying why I make YouTube videos. It's not, it was just, I think it's something interesting that people could be talking about more. It's just something that's been kind of floating around my head, and I'm curious what other people's opinion of this is. Why, if anyone out there is doing comics, why are you doing it? Why? What is it? Something personal to you? Is it something that holds, obviously it would have to hold meaning to a person, but I don't know, maybe that's not it. Is it just a fun hobby that occupies your time and you're like, this is cool and I like to draw, so I'm making a comic? Or do you feel like you have something to say that you want to get out to the world and you want to share with other people? Or is it just solely for yourself? You want to entertain yourself with a story? Or there's so many reasons why people do art. There's so many reasons why people go out there and they produce pieces of art with the knowledge, with knowing that, maybe I'm never going to be famous. Some people want to be famous. Some people work hard enough for it. Some people just get lucky. Some people, they're fantastic and they just never get seen. Van Gogh, oh my gosh, I think he sold like 1 or 2 paintings, and I think his brother was the only one who ever bought his paintings. I don't know, I'm kind of curious, you guys. What are your thoughts on this whole, the fear of failure? I feel like embracing the failure, I kind of talked about it in the oracular, inktacular video. Not saying anything new. I'm just working things out in my mind. But failure is something that I guess you need to embrace, not so much avoid completely, just so that when you do have the successes, you're going to have more failures usually than you do successes, so it's healthy to, I guess, embrace the failure and try to learn from it. And how do you learn from it? Where do you go? How do you figure sometimes people tell you why something failed, and sometimes people just don't. I don't know. I'm just curious. I can't answer these questions myself because I feel like I'm kind of an oddball. Everyone feels like they're an oddball. Everyone's unique in that everyone is different, but everyone is still that. We all want to be unique. We all want to be, differentiate ourselves from others, but at the same time, we want to be part of something too. But I don't know, maybe I don't have much to say or add, but I guess if I focus on it, and I guess talking about these things, being a little more introspective, it might help other people be a little bit inspired, or maybe kind of look inside and see, why am I doing this and what am I getting out of it? And how can I share that with others? Just kind of reciprocate and kind of spread it around so that other people are thinking about it. And maybe just the act of thinking is enough. Maybe the act of thinking can lead one to create something really awesome. But sometimes overthinking something, that's not always good either. I have this problem where I waffle back and forth. I try to focus on the detail, but also at the same time trying to keep the big picture in mind. So whereas my personal opinion is important, but my opinion isn't it's a part of the whole, but the whole exists too, and my opinion doesn't necessarily need to be reflected in the whole. I don't know if any of that makes sense. I'm obsessed with dragons. Hi. Hi. I'm obsessed with dragons. Not so much now as I was back in the day. For Inktober, they had the word prompt dragon. And I was so excited because I was like, oh my god, I haven't drawn a dragon in a long time. Oh my gosh, I need to do a dragon. So that was really weird. I'm really weird. I haven't had a lot of human contact, so I'm getting kind of weird. Yeah, so let's just leave that at that. Friday night videos. But yeah, so I wanted to redo a dragon that I'd done several years ago, but I'll throw up a picture of it here. It's kind of my Cerulean Dreams advertisement thingy. And I really like this dragon. I had been working with a woman. She had a fantasy story that she wanted to have pictures for. The fact that the project ended up falling out, I got some good drawings out of it. This dragon I drew for her fantasy thing, But it was kind of, she told me what it was supposed to be, the type of dragon, and then I came up with it. She didn't really like the fact that it was real snaky and serpenty, so I was like, well, okay, I'm gonna use it anyway for myself. But yeah, that was another case where I'd drawn several pictures, lots of characters to her specifications. Even though I spent a lot of time working with her and meeting up with her on a project that failed, in this instance, I feel the practice of working with someone was worth the failure. Kind of bringing it back to the failure, you know, the fear of failure, though, that's not really the same thing as just failure. I mean, I feel like people are so scared to be wrong quite often. I mean, I don't think that's like a new... A lot of people think it's like a new concept. I have no qualifiers for that, you guys. I'm just babbling from people, watching people on YouTube. Everybody, and reading people. Everyone is so, like, comments. Nobody, like, wants to be wrong when they're talking about something or when they're really passionate about something. And I don't know, people get so defensive when, you know, it's pointed out that maybe they're wrong or maybe their opinion isn't necessarily right. People are so scared of being wrong and looked at as being ignorant or stupid or unintelligent. But I don't know, I feel like we need to be a little more... It's okay to be wrong. You look like a bigger ass when you're wrong and you stick to your guns, even though you're definitely wrong, than you do admitting that, yeah, maybe what I said wasn't correct, I just didn't know. I feel like people are so scared of being labeled as stupid, when that's not the case at all. Smart people are wrong, often. I wouldn't know what that feels like, because I'm not a smart person. I'm always wrong. Just kidding. These are just, I don't really know sometimes what to do on Friday videos, and life has been so turbulent this whole month. I just am so exhausted. I'm not trying to make anyone feel bad for me, but I like to be honest. So if things have been a little shittier than usual with my videos and the quality, it's shit anyway, but it gets even worse whenever I'm strung out and tired and got too much shit on my plate. You've noticed I've been cussing a lot more. I'm never gonna monetize my videos, and I'm done playing by the YouTube PC rules. I mean, I don't want to offend anyone, so I am sorry if the cursing offends you. I'm sorry with the caveat of, but I gotta be me. I've gotta be me. So if you don't like the cursing, I do apologize, and that's that. I'm gonna leave it at that. Please disregard the cursing. That's another topic. You know, who picks what words mean? Who designates what words are dirtier than others, or what words are more severe or worse than others? They're all just words. They all symbolize things. A rose by any other name would smell as sweet. Okay, I guess I've mused long enough in this video. I said a whole lot of nothing, you guys, but I do want to hear your opinions on, you know, this whole anxiety of influence, this idea that nothing you say could be any better than what's already been said, and how do you surmount that? I don't know that I've entirely surmounted that. The only thing that I have been able to do is that I internalize things and I compete against myself instead of trying to compete against other people. Because otherwise I'd just be insane, because everyone's always going to be better than me, and that's not how you, or I feel that's not how you improve. But I certainly have not been able to surmount this anxiety of influence, and I know that other people have better, more important things to say than myself. So if anyone out there has any thoughts on this, or any tips and tricks, I want to hear them. I mean, if anyone wants to, you know, talk with each other down in the comments, and I certainly want to pipe in too. I guess that's all. If you like the video, if you like the stream of conscious babble log while you're drawing or doing your own thing, give me a like, subscribe, do the bell thing. It's so not clever. It's what I came up with, though. I don't care. Maybe I'll come up with something better later. But thank you for listening. Peace and love. Fare you well. And keep on trucking.